Hey there everyone, so today we're talking about factors and multiples. First off, factors. Factors are numbers that we multiply together to get another number. So for example, when it says find the factors of 36, we need to ask ourselves, what can we multiply together in order to get 36? Well, we can take 1 times 36, we can take 2 times 18, we can take 3 times 12, we can take 4 times 9, and we can take 6 times 6. And then we start repeating ourselves. So those are all the numbers that we can multiply together in order to get 36. So the factors of 36 are all those numbers. And I'm just going to list them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we got 6, 9, 12, 18, 36. And you'll see there's this nice little pattern to connect them. 1 times 36. 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, and then 6 times itself. All right, so those are factors. And an extension beyond that is something called the greatest common factor, also known as the GCF. Okay, so I've got an example there for you. The factors of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Factors of 30, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. The greatest common factor is the biggest number that they share. The highest factor of 12 and 30 that relates to both of them. Okay, it belongs to both of them. Okay, and so the greatest common factor must be less than or equal to the smallest number. Right? And that should make a little bit of sense. The greatest common factor of 12 and 30 can't be bigger than 12 because it needs to go into 12 as well. Okay, so the greatest common factor has to be less than or equal to the smallest number. So when we're actually trying to find the greatest common factor, we don't need to break down every single number. So like 12, 42, 24. We don't have to find the factors of all three of those numbers. We just need to find the factors of 12. And those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Right? Because we got 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So now we look through those and we're going to go top down. Let's start at 12. Does 12 go into 42? It doesn't. 12 does not go into 42 evenly. So 12 cannot be the greatest common factor of all three of those numbers. 12 does go into 24, but it doesn't go into 42. Therefore, it doesn't fit the criteria of being the biggest factor that's shared between all three of those numbers. So next up is 6. 6 goes into 12. Does 6 go into 42? So we take 42 divided by 6 and we get 7. So 6 does go into 42 evenly. Now we ask ourselves, does 6 go into 24? Well, 24 divided by 6 is 4. So 6 goes into all three of these numbers nicely. So the greatest common factor, the biggest factor that's shared amongst all three of those numbers is 6. Okay? Next up, 8 and 21. 8 and 21. So what numbers go into both 8 and 21? What's the biggest number that they share? Biggest factor that they share? So let's look at the factors of the smallest number, 8. Well, we could take 1 times 8, and we can take 2 times 4, and that's it. All right, so now we start to work our way down. Does 8 go into 21? It doesn't. What about 4? Does 4 go into 21? Not evenly. How about 2? Well, 21's not even, so 2 won't go into it. Does 1 go into 21? Well, yeah, 1 goes into every number. So it just so happens that the greatest common factor here is 1. That's all we can do. That's the biggest number that goes into both 8 and 21. It's the biggest factor that's shared. All right, so there's a little tidbit about factors and greatest common factors. Next video, we'll start talking about multiples.